Following a two-game road trip, the Air Force Academy Falcons will host the fifth highest scoring team in the country, the Bryant University Bulldogs. Good afternoon, everybody from the United States Air Force Academy. I'm Jeffrey Orman, along with Air Force Academy graduate Danny Bellissimo. And Danny, you have got a team that can certainly put the ball in the net. I'm speaking, of course, of the Bryant Bulldogs, averaging almost 15 goals per game. Defense is going to be a key, and I have a sneaking suspicion Jason Rose may have to do what you suggest, stand on his head today. I think that's going to be a very key factor this afternoon.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Bryant's coming in scoring 15.6 goals per game. If Air Force wants to have success today, it's going to start at the face-off X. They're only winning about 30% of the face-offs this year. Bryant's winning 50%. I talked to Coach Poplar on the phone last night. He says they're shooting for about 50% at the face-off X because you have to slow Bryant's offense. If you win the face-offs, Bryant's offense doesn't get the ball.
Taking a look at the tail of the tape, Air Force scoring an average of 10 goals per game. We've already mentioned the Bulldogs about 16. Shots on goal, 35 for Air Force, 43 for the Bulldogs. Here's a factor that I think could be very interesting. The shooting percentage, Air Force 55% as opposed to 36% for the Bulldogs. And in the save opportunity, we've already mentioned Jason Rose, 51% as opposed to his counterpart, who is going to be number 73 for the Bulldogs. That'll be Tegan Alexander. He is 47% save. Here we go, and we'll probably have to catch the starting lineups on the fly. And as you mentioned, Danny, the face-off a very big factor. Possession will be going to the black and gold of the Bryant Bulldogs as they will be moving from south to north, right to left here at the Air Force Academy. This team loves to shoot, Danny, and I would imagine we'll probably see something very quickly after the face-off. They are working the ball around a little bit, but I would imagine they're going to be letting fly here fairly quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Air Force's defense has got to keep an eye on 12, 22, and 34. They're the goal scorers for Bryant. They want to make sure none of those guys get any good looks at the cage because those guys have been finishing all season.
Keep your eyes on number 12. That is Jack Lonsinger. He is the number one scoring freshman in the country, averaging about 4 goals per game. Once again, the Bulldogs' second meeting between these two schools. They met last year with Air Force coming away victorious in Rhode Island. And this pass goes errant, goes awry. They dig, they scratch. We just had somebody knocked into the net down there. And that is Kevin Groninger, who gets introduced to the Air Force Academy practice net down here. And the Falcons with their first possession of the afternoon. I think that was a key factor right there in that opening possession, Danny.
Yeah, that was a good heads-up play down there in the end line by Air Force's defense. Instead of trying to pick up that ball, he just let it go out of bounds and put on a nice little body check to make sure Air Force got the ball.
And here come the Bulldogs, as I think they tried to set one up in front of the goal. Ball is loose, and the possession will come right back to Air Force. So here we go in the early going. And for the Falcons, it'll be number 1, Caden Driggs. Aiden Tola, number 5. Alexander Stepney, number 8. Number 21, Cody Gross. Number 25, James Chastain. We've already mentioned Jason Rose, who'll be in the goal at number 33. Ethan Grandolfo, number 40. Daniel Enoch, number 44, Brandon Dodd, number 45, and Wes Payne, number 56. That's the starting unit for the Air Force Academy Falcons and Bill Wilson. For the Bulldogs, it'll be Tegan Alexander in the goal. Tanner Alexander, his brother, number 77. Cole Garvey, number 45. Alexander Goltz, number 34. Number 30, Drew Lucas. Number 31, Timmy Hackett. Johnny Hackett will be wearing number 22. Yes, they are siblings. Number 12, Jack Lonsinger. We've already profiled him. And Kevin Groninger, number 9. Connor McMahon, number 1. And that's how the Bulldogs will come on the attack.
That was a real nice look Air Force got to the front of the crease. They just weren't able to put it away, but a good ride. Air Force is going to take this back on offense. One thing that's pretty interesting is look how far out Bryant's defense is. They're picking the Air Force up at the 40-yard line. Just looking at Bryant's schedule, they have not played a game outside of the Northeast today. Welcome to 7,000 feet above sea level. We'll see if they'll able to keep up that kind of defensive intensity into the second half.
This team is only an overtime short of being 5-0 on the year. They currently come in with a 3-game win streak at 4-1. And, of course, as you would expect, Brandon Dodd getting a lot of attention. There's a shot in front of the goal, but it is picked up by Alexander. Of course, we have to tell you that is Tegan Alexander. That's number 73. You see him in your picture there. And he will start the Bulldog offense as we have, in the early going, played almost 3.5 minutes. And as I mentioned before, Shad Bruce, number 0, now coming in for the Falcons right now.
It looks like Bryant slowing everything up, getting all their offensive personnel. It looks like they're trying to play a little two-man behind the cage right now.
This is a team, as we mentioned, Falcons coming in 3-2. They are 1-0 in ASUN conference play, which was important. They got that last week on the road. Again, the Bulldogs trying to set up. There's a shot, and it is saved by Rose. He's going to be doing a lot of that this afternoon, I think, Danny.
Yep, absolutely. You know, I had a really good perspective from where that shot happened to where Jason Rose's save was, and his eyes were wide open. He's seeing the ball really well today. I think he's going to have a heck of a game.
2 substitutions coming in. The first shot of the Hayden Goltz was the one that took the last shot for the Bulldogs. Now massive substitutions. We see number 24 checking in for Air Force. That'll be Gavin Peen. And I'm wondering, Danny, we were talking about this at the pregame a little bit, the fact that maybe Coach Wilson has been changed the lineup a little bit. I'm just wondering if he isn't going for more defensive-minded. There's a shot and a score, and the Falcons lead it 1-0. Hold that thought.
Falcons go.
Gavin Peen just catching the ball. Air Force is working the ball around real nice. Found Gavin Peen at the top of the key and just puts in a hard bounce shot past Tegan Alexander of Bryant.
And he just checked in the game. I think Gavin just came in. They said, all right, we'll feed you.
Yeah. When it comes to the lineup, I talked to Coach Poplar last night, and he was telling me that throughout this season, Air Force has done a lot of things really well and a couple of things not so well. So they're still trying to find their identity as a team, and they've been working on that a lot in practice, and that might be why they have a couple of personnel change from the previous games we've seen this season.
And this is a big one for Air Force as they win the face-off, so the face-off should be even up at 1 apiece. Gavin Peen with his 3rd goal of the year to give the Falcons the 1-0 lead. Falcons working outside that perimeter. And as you mentioned, Danny, the extension, if you will, for the Bulldogs was about the 40-yard line. Now the Falcons trying to penetrate. Might get a good look here. Ball is loose. And a ground ball advantage now getting to the Bulldogs, who trail it by the score of 1-0. Trying to see if there's any more substitutions. Once again, Shad Bruce checking in. And it looks like the Bulldogs really putting in a massive substitutions right now. We are in the first period. You see the time remaining. And the Falcons up 1-0. Trying to set up top. This is the number 97. It's Cole Braun, I believe, that is getting the ball. Bulldogs might get a look here. And ball is knocked away. Ground ball comes to Air Force.
If you just watch that step that he made on that save, he is seeing the ball super well today. That was an amazing save because that was one-on-one right on the doorstep, and that was an explosive step to that ball.
So we are at 1-0. Number 24, Gavin Peen getting the goal so far for Air Force this afternoon. Here come the Bulldogs on the attack. Now they want to go behind the net. Every time they cradle that ball towards the Air Force goal, I think they're going to shoot. So.
And that's what their stats would lead you to believe, averaging 15.6 goals a game.
Might get a look here as they try to get outside, but a good ride, good check, and there's a shot, and That is knocked away. Air Force in possession of the ball. We talked about it at the start of the show, Danny. The defense is going to have to play big, and so far you'd have to check the box here in the first quarter.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the kind of shots we want to be giving up from 12 yards out. Jason Rose is going to make those saves all day long.
We are in the first period of play, second meeting between these two schools. Air Force with a 1-0 advantage after winning in Rhode Island last year, 16-14 if my memory is correct. Falcons have been winning by an average of about 3 goals per game, and they come on the attack now. It certainly has been shaping up to what we thought it might be. The Air Force defense playing up big here in the first part. Grandolfo lets one fly. That's going to go wide right. And it'll come to the Bulldogs.
That was a nice set piece there. Air Force's attack got the defense for Bryant hung up there. Everyone was in front of the cage. Nice look to Ethan Grandolfo. Nice shot, just couldn't put it on cage.
Sam Ewing now coming into play for the Falcons. Now with the ball is Ryan Dobrinsky. They'll just kind of take their time right now, which really surprises me. But 1-0 is the score here. Gavin Payne, the only goal so far for Air Force. There's a setup near the front, and ball is loose. Ground ball picked up by Air Force, and they come on the attack. The loose ball being picked up by number 30. That's Blake Boyd. They bring it into the attack zone. Ball is loose. 50-50 ball again. Still fighting for it. I think Air Force has it, and a timeout is going to be called, and it is going to be coming with 6 minutes and 22 seconds left to play in the first period. 1-0 Air Force. You're watching Air Force Lacrosse. This is Falcon Vision. There's a look at the Air Force huddle. Gavin Payne scoring the only goal thus far for the Air Force Academy Falcons. Danny, as you take a look at what's happened in the first few moments of play, what do you see?
Air Force's defense is definitely up to the challenge today, but on the offensive side, we're just throwing the ball away a little too much. You throw the ball away against the number 5 scoring team in the nation, they're going to make you pay for it. So Air Force is going to have to clean that up. Luckily, Air Force has got one of the best in the business of one of their coaches. Took a very smart timeout there because his defenseman had the ball on the offensive side of the field and was getting triple teamed, and there was a chance they were going to give away another possession there.
Tegan Alexander, you just saw him in your picture just a few moments ago. There you get a look at number 56, Wes Payne for the Air Force Academy Falcons. And it looks like Ethan Grandolfo will trigger it in for the Falcons on the south end of the field. There's the aforementioned number 56, Wes Payne. And let's see. Air Force, I think it'd be safe to say it's been, they play fairly patient. There's a long pop in front of the crease. It's dug out by Alexander, taken. And here they come on the attack as Drew Lucas.
Yeah, Iago had a real nice look at the cage there. Just a little unlucky hitting the pipe on that one. Otherwise, he had Alexander beat.
And Josh is really on his man here as the ball comes into the attack zone, and the Falcons have it. Another turnover. Off to Wes Payne. Trying to set up. They're up in front of the cage. Ball's cleared out, or knocked away, rather. And it looks like it is going to be a ground ball in favor of the Bulldogs.
That was a nice look from Dodd to Grandolfo right there on the crease. Just couldn't handle the pass, but that's what I'm talking about. We need to start handling those passes and not giving those possessions right back to Bryant's offense.
Bryant showing a little bit of patience now as they come into the attack zone. That's Johnny Hackett, number 22, with the cradle as he comes to the left side. Off now to number 9, Kevin Grossinger. Looking for a wraparound shot. Hey, I'm telling you, Forgive me if I keep looking down at the stat sheet here because I keep waiting. There's a ball that's in front of the Air Force goal, and it's dug out by Mr. Rose.
Ooh. And that was an excellent outlet pass by Jason Rose to get the ball back down on the offensive side real quick. I don't know what Jason Rose's job is after he graduates here, but here's a recommendation for C-130s because he's just airdropping passes like it's his job right now.
Tommy Hillman had a cameo appearance there, and he'll be replaced by number 42, Hunter Panzik. Falcons leading it on a Gavin Peen goal here in the first period of play. On a day that, well, we're not really exactly sure what the weather forecast is going to be. They are calling for a little bit of rain later on this afternoon, but hopefully we won't be around for that.
So just before I got to the game, I called the Airfield's weather shop, the best forecasters in the Air Force, and they told us to expect about 25, 35 knots coming straight off the mountains. They can't rule out a stray shower, and we should be looking at about 50-degree weather the entire time.
All right, and a decent crowd on hand. Bryant has got quite a few people that some, I'm sure, made the trip from Rhode Island, but we do have a couple of Colorado kids, so I'm sure family and friends on hand for that.
Yeah, when I talked to Coach Poplar on the phone last night, he told me one of the keys to today's game is to, as he put it, find out who the mudders are, the guys that want to play in the bad weather and still put out 100% effort. Anyone that lives in Colorado Springs knows pretty much all week the winds have been out of the west at 40 knots. I don't know how much Bryant has played in those conditions, but Air Force has been practicing in that all week, and they're ready for those winds to start coming howling off the mountains.
And so, as we kind of look at the 3:19 mark in the first period, low-scoring affair, which would definitely favor Air Force, I would imagine. We've talked about that in the Denver University game. I think that's Grandolfo on the backside of the goal back there. Now he feeds it off.
Ooh, that's Air Force's second post that they've hit today. They're getting good looks. They just got to start finishing them.
Working that ball around to the outside. Here's Grandolfo in front. He lets fly. And I think Ethan put it in the can. He did. 2-0 Air Force.
Number 40, Ethan Grandolfo.
Yeah, that was a nice hard dodge by Ethan Grandolfo. Taking a look at the replay right here. Just hit him with that switch hand before he comes in with the dive. Ooh, that's one of the best things college lacrosse ever did was bring back the dive because they had outlawed that for about 15 years, but that's one of the most exciting plays in lacrosse.
Remember against Colgate, they had a goal disallowed on that. 8th goal of the year for Ethan Grandolfo, and the Falcons lead it by the score of 2-0. As we mentioned, the Bryant Bulldogs coming in with a record of 4-1. They've won 3 in a row. Only an overtime loss has kept them from being perfect. This is the second time in 3 years that the Bulldogs have had a 4-1 start. Peen and Grandolfo with the goal so far for Air Force. Here's another shot, goes wide. And looks like the Falcons will retain possession. Still lots of time on the shot clock. Let's see if they'll run that same offense that they did on that last goal. That's Yago who had the ball. Working around the perimeter once again. 2:02 as you see, left in the first period. Tegan Alexander with a stop. And he'll fire out front. Outlet pass. And coming across, ball I think was taken away, knocked away, and went into the hands of 40.
Grandolfo's definitely picking up where he left off after last week where he had a hat trick. He just catches this quick stick, doesn't even take a cradle, and just doesn't even give Tegan Alexander enough to cross over to that pipe. Nice goal by Ethan Grandolfo.
Second of the game, 9th of the year. Falcons off to a 3-0 start here in the first period. Found the corner on that one. And here we go with the opening face-off. Ball still loose. And possession goes to Air Force. Watching the official, making sure that Everything was good. Now the wind's starting to pick up. Right on cue, Danny. Good job there. As a matter of fact, you were talking about the weather service at the Air Force Base. They've never been wrong. Every time I've gotten a weather report, they're always right.
Those are some of the hardest working forecasters in the world. When you put an airfield right at the base of the Rocky Mountains, I don't know whose idea that was, but.
Oh gosh, that's funny. All right, so the Falcons on a 3-0 run. And they lead by the same score as we are winding down here in the first period of play. Falcons off to, no pun intended, flying start here in the first quarter. Payne! Wes Payne!
Falcons go!
Man, you know, I'm obviously biased because I'm from Long Island, but that's just a Long Island goal right there. Just a hard dodge from up top. Straight overhand and goes right into the top corner.
What a shot that was.
That shot had so much power behind it, it could have taken down a Chinese spy balloon at 60,000 feet.
Well, Wes would have been the man to do it, right? Wes Payne. 7th goal of the year. The Falcons off to a 4-0 start on the Bryant Bulldogs. And I think there might be a little shock developing. Falcons are winning the face-off, too. They've got to keep this going. Josh Yago, a lot of lacrosse to play. Make no mistake about it, but the Falcons have come out on fire here in the first quarter. Here's a long shot, wide left, and at the end of the first period of play, Air Force 4, Bryant University 0. You're watching Air Force Lacrosse. This is Falcon Vision. Getting ready to start the second quarter. You see the score of 4-0 in favor of the Air Force Academy Falcons. It has been a family affair as both the Peens have scored and Ethan Grandolfo has put 2 in for the Falcons, and that is where we stand at 4-0. Change of goals, Air Force moving south to north as we look at them. But, you know, I think one of the key factors, Danny, has been the face-offs. You talked about that at the start of the game, and Air Force definitely having the advantage there.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been actually winning at the face-off dot. And then another really important factor to bring into is ground ball. So on the year, Air Force is 127 versus 154. Bryant's about 50-50 on their ground balls, but ground balls also equal possessions.
And so it will be the Bulldogs, the black and gold. They might have a look here. And it is knocked away. Ball is picked up by Air Force, and they come on the attack. As they come into the attack zone, that's Shad Bruce who'll be bringing it into play. Your eyes do not deceive you, folks. That is the score at the end of one, but as everyone knows, a lot of lacrosse to be played. Here's Tommy Hellman, one of the tri-captains for Air Force at possession. Wespeen now with the ball, as he's already scored once today. Falcons obviously are going to be working that clock. Here's a man we haven't spoken of yet. That's Brandon Dodd, leading scorer on the team for the Falcons. Grandolfo. And 32 on the shot clock. Back to Wespeen. Now the ball gets loose. Picked up by the Bulldogs. He'll afford that. And so the Bulldogs looking for their first goal of the match. We haven't had a chance to talk too terribly much about number 12, Jack Lonsinger. Number 1 scoring freshman in the country, averaging 4 goals per game. And so far, Danny, they pretty much held that young man in check.
Yeah, they absolutely have. What's a little surprising as well is Air Force is up 4-0, and Dodd has 0 goals on the day. That last one, I think, was a classic case of thinking about your celebration dance before you catch the ball to throw it into the back of the cage.
Well, this Air Force team can score. We've seen some people that have come up playing big on the road. And while Brandon Dodd certainly has been getting a lot of the preseason ink, you can't say enough about Ethan Grandolfo and the Peens. And there's a turnover. It's going to go to the Falcons. And the wind really starting to pick up. You might be able to hear that through our microphones here in the...
That was just a real nice hustle play by the defense on Air Force. Sam Ewing getting to that sideline to get that ball back for Air Force. Looks like Bryant's coming out in a 10-man ride right now.
That's kind of an interesting situation. You had a shot a little bit earlier of the
what's happening right now is the referees are calling that a pass, but that was a shot. And with Dodd on the end line, Air Force should be getting that ball back. I don't think the referees realized Bryant was in a 10-man, and so the goalie was out of the cage, so the shot actually came from our defensive side of the field. So errant call by the referees. I'm keeping score today. That's 1-0.
No referee baiting here, folks. We call them as we see them here. All right. While we have a moment, we want to extend greetings to, I think we just had a goal scored by the Bulldogs on that. We'll see
number 22, Johnny Hackett. They got the shorty with a short stick defense. Just did a quick dodge, hit a streaking guy from where the slide came from, and Johnny Hackett was able to put it in the back of the net.
And so the Bulldogs get on the scoreboard for the first time this afternoon. And for Johnny Hackett, that is his 14th goal of the season. Now it's back to the face-off. As always, we want to extend a special greeting to those of you that are watching our broadcast in Rhode Island, as the Bulldogs do get the face-off opportunity here, as well as some of our Air Force Academy graduate and fans, family members and the like. So welcome to the lacrosse field here at the Air Force Academy. I almost called it Falcon Field. I would have probably heard about that, but anyway. We talked a little bit earlier about this as well, about the fact that, as you probably know ad nauseum, those of you that are following the Air Force Academy Falcons lacrosse team, you know that they're undergoing renovations at the stadium. But we talked about this, Danny, about the intimacy of the lacrosse field, the practice lacrosse field here at the United States Air Force Academy, and how that can be a big factor. But right now focusing on the Bulldogs, who have finally gotten on the board and made it a 4-1 match here in the second period.
Yeah, definitely they have a little bit of a more home field advantage up here. It's a little higher. It's a nice save by Jason Rose there. A little higher on the elevation. The fans are pretty much right up against the field, and so they can take over this game and just feed their energy to the team.
There's no doubt about that. Here's a pass off to the right side. Asiago with the cradle.
Looks like we got a flag down. I didn't see what it was for, though.
I still don't see it.
It fell right over here into Air Force's bench, but it's definitely down. And Air Force is going to be going man up.
Smithfield, Rhode Island, the home of the Bryant University Bulldogs. We'll see what the call is. We're still waiting for that. And there's a nice ball that's knocked away by Teague Alexander. He came into this match with a 47% saves rating. I think it is on Bryant.
Offsides.
Offsides. 30 seconds coming.
All right, offside, 30 second offside.
And that will be number 14 who gets called into the sin bin.
34. Penalty, the Bulldogs, number 34, Aiden goes offside, 30-second penalty.
So the Falcons will get the opportunity by going a man up.
Air Force's man up is coming in at about 36% success rate this year, so hopefully they can just start to add to their lead here and not give up a real good opportunity.
There's an opportunity right there, and they scored on it.
Ethan Grandolfo with his hat trick for the day. Man, he looked like Allen Iverson on the crease there. Just a little shake and bake and then throw that into the top corner.
Hat trick already, and we're in the first period. The first half, rather. Ethan Grandolfo raising the stick.
He threw so many dip and dunks on that. He made Teagan Alexander look like he had his feet tied together.
Wow. This is the first visit, obviously, for the Bulldogs of Bryant University, and the Falcons have made them feel most welcome, haven't they? With a 5-1 lead. We still have a 50-50 ball. Now the possession. Bulldogs have it. Chad Bruce now coming into the lineup for head coach Bill Wilson, and checking out is Dylan Frankhauser. All right, you're down 5-1. Your Air Force right now. Danny, how are you playing at the rest of the half? So far, I can't see anything that they would want to change.
Absolutely not. I'm sticking with this game plan. Obviously, the coaching staff did a really nice job throughout the week preparing for this game, coming in with a good offensive and defensive game plan, and I'm just going to take this all the way to the half before I make any adjustments.
There you go. Falcons just need to keep putting the pedal to the metal, so to speak. Here's Brandon Dodd. Feeds it up high to Wes Payne. Wes. I think I heard somebody yell down there, hold it. Just work that shot clock. 48 seconds is on the shot clock. See the time remaining here in the first half. Air Force got off to a quick start, and that's pretty much how we are right now. Here's that man with a hat trick. There's a pass right in front of the goal, but it gets away. Let's see if it's going to be saved by Wes Payne. Not in time. It'll be a turnover. It'll go to the Bulldogs.
Bryant's defense did a real nice job collapsing on that and getting that check in, so Air Force couldn't catch the ball on the crease. Wes Payne, real nice hustle coming over to the sideline to try to keep that in bounce. Just needed a couple more steps.
Now it looks like, Danny, they're going to pull the goalie and go on a 10-man attack, as there is nobody back there defending for the Bulldogs in goal. Now they'll send somebody back. I thought they would just pull everybody and go on a 10-man rush right about there. Only goal of the match as we take a look at the attack for the Bulldogs right in front of the Air Force goal here, trying to work that ball around, trying to look for something to cut this thing down to a 3-goal deficit. Only goal of the match so far is scored by Johnny Hackett. There's a look at the score. That'll change. It should be number 34. That should be Aiden Goltz who got that. We'll check and see.
Bulldogs go by number 34, Aiden Goltz.
Always look for the man that's getting mugged.
Yeah, this is a pretty nice dodge that he threw coming in from behind the goal. Just does a nice little swim move over the top, gets above the goal line, puts it in.
And the Bulldogs, who found themselves down, have now scored the last 2 goals for. So they're starting to come alive a little bit here. We've had a violation called on Air Force, so the ball will go over to the Bulldogs, and they have a chance to make it 5-3 now.
Yeah, with the way the Air Force's Fogos have been going this year, we'll take them any way we can get them. Got the shorty behind right now.
Let's see how the
Little 2-man. Now Yago's got the shorty.
Yeah, they're starting to bump him a little bit. Here's a shot on the way. It's going to go wide left. And it'll be cleared by or rather taken down by the Bulldogs. Drew Lucas will trigger the offense. This ball gets loose. Now they go out to number 10. This is Mason going on the attack for the Bulldogs of Bryant University. Time left on the shot clock, 56 seconds. Seem to have been picking up a little bit of momentum, falling behind in the early going, and now they've decided to get into business. Nice swim move there.
Yep.
And I think he lost the ball as a result.
Yeah, Aiden Goltz went to the well one too many times. That was his 3rd time trying that over-the-head swim move, and the Air Force was ready for it.
Another turnover by the Bulldogs. Trying to set up outside. Being chased around back there. That's Tommy Hellman. He goes to Wes Payne, and Payne holding up that left hand. I think he wants to set up the offense a little bit with 46 on the shot clock, 46 seconds on the shot clock. Payne now on the move. Might have a look here. Scooped up. Nice play by the Bulldogs, and they come on the attack. We have a player down. We have a flag down, and about 5 yards out from the goal, the Bryant goal, Ethan Grandolfo ate some dirt. Let's see what we're going to have here. Officials are having a little bit of a discussion. Watch it again. Yeah, that was looked like a takedown from behind. Cole Garvey, I think, but we're not going to. I think Cole might be getting a seat. Somebody's going to the sin bin, I think, and we'll get the call from the official here in just a bit. Here it is. Cross check, that's going to be 1 minute, non-releasable, and so Falcons for the 2nd time, I think, today, Danny, have a man up.
Yep, and this one is unreleasable, so no matter whether or not Air Force scores here, they're going to stay man up. So they need to take advantage of this situation and start adding to their lead here.
1 minute.
Yeah, against this team, you got to take everything you can get. And as I mentioned, I think this is the 2nd time that the Bulldogs have been whistled. So, let's see if Brandon Dodd, as you mentioned, Danny, has been quiet. He won't be for long. Loses the ball, though. 50-50 ball. It's been overrun, picked up by Air Force. They get it right back. Brandon Dodd. What's with that stick? Holy cow. I mean,
Not sure, but I think it is actually broken because here comes Dodd to the box, getting Wes Peen on. Looks like the mesh gave out in his stick. He's got to go to his backup wand.
There's There's a shot. That's going to go high.
That should reset the shot clock for them, which is real nice considering the fact that they're in a man-up, unreleasable right now.
See the time remaining in the first half. The score. Tight match here. There's West Payne. I think maybe West might have had an idea of maybe showing a look that he was going to pass and then turn around and fire that thing. Air Force will work it. There's no question about it. That seems to be the MO. There's a shot and a score, number 5. They didn't work it that time. Aiden Tolan said, give me the rock. It's going in.
Falcons goal.
Yeah, that was a real nice look by Aiden Tolan.
Assist to number 40.
He just took that shot from about 13 yards out and beat Tegan Alexander.
Now keep in mind, because it is a non-releasable, Falcons still will be a man up, depending on how much time is in the penalty. 6-2 rather in favor of the Falcons. This won't last long, so almost at the immediate face-off. Falcons moving south to north on a day in which the wind has been starting to pick up a little bit. Ball popped up in the air. Now we're going to be at full strength. So the Bulldogs will have their full contingent, making some mass substitutions out there.
And that's why face-offs are so important. You can see Bryant winning that, kills the rest of that penalty. But if Air Force wins that, it's another possession, and they get to elongate that minute-long penalty.
There's a shot that went wide. Falcons back from a 2-game road trip, and following this 1-game homestand, they're back on the road again, and one of their opponents will be Duke University. Another one will be a conference game. Here's a ground ball. It's picked up by Air Force. They're trying to run the
Tommy
break.
Hellman on the fast break.
Here's Tommy Hellman. Is he going to let it go? I think he was going to let go. Josh Yago in pursuit. Ball should come back to, let's see. Yep, I think they got the...
Bryant took a timeout there. Tommy Hellman, eyes got real big. I don't blame him for taking that shot. We had help at the X, but he had his point man, Brandon Dodd, was wide open.
Timeout with 3:30 left to play before the intermission. You see the score, Air Force on top 6-2. You're watching Air Force Lacrosse. This is Falcon Vision. Back once again here at the United States Air Force Academy. Interestingly enough, Danny Bellissimo, this is the big scores for both of these teams have been silent today.
Yeah, they have. Air Force obviously did their homework. They had nothing but practice all entire week, and they obviously prepared for today's game, and they've held the leading goal scorer in the nation for a freshman at bay all day today. One thing that's surprising is Brandon Dodd hasn't gotten on the scoreboard today. Coming into this game, Bryant's defense giving up 13 goals per game. Bryant's goalie's given up only a 47% shot percentage. So I think Dodd would have been letting some more shots loose so far this game.
Turnover to the Bulldogs as they'll try to cut the lead in half. Shed Bruce coming in for Air Force, and Connor McMahon in for Bryant University. Bryant trying to get this thing down, and they may have a look here. No, they'll work behind the X, work behind the dot. High pass. Of course, Falcons are going to play it fairly deep. Still working outside. 31 on the shot clock. And that attempt might have been disrupted by Air Force defense. It looked like somebody got in the lane there and might have disrupted the shot. A little check there. And I think that threw everything out of sync.
Yeah, Air Force's second slide on that was real nice. Jason Rose with another save. We haven't really said his name very much the second quarter, but Air Force's defense still showing up today.
No doubt about it. I think that's going to be the story of the entire season. Now the Bulldogs are arguing they should have possession of the ball. Let's see if the officials concur, and yes, they do.
Yeah, so the Air Force has got to get the ball in the clear over the midfield line within 20 seconds, and they did not on that one, and so you have to give the ball back to Bryant. Looks like Bryant actually took Air Force by surprise when they came out in that 10-man. They've been doing it sporadically so far in the second quarter, so Air Force is going to have to get ready for that at halftime. Crease violation going Air Force.
Yep. And so the Falcons will have an opportunity with about 1:16 left to play here in the first half.
Yeah, Air Force shouldn't rush anything right now. You're up 6-2. Get all your offensive personnel on there, get a set play, and run it.
Here is the Falcons just working outside the perimeter. That's Mr. Grandolfo, who's already wearing a hat here in the first half. His third hat trick of the 2023 campaign.
The Air Force is going to like this. Ethan Grandolfo's got a shorty behind the cage right now. There's 32 seconds left in the shot clock, only 34 seconds left in the half. They're not going to rush anything, and Ethan Grandolfo is about to put on a show, try to take this to the last shot before the half.
He's getting checked. Gets rid of it. Here's Josh Iago with an attack. Back out, ball loose. Will be picked up by Air Force, we think, and it will be. 7 seconds. That turnover to the Bulldogs. They're going to have an opportunity here. The left fly. Nothing happening. That should close out. Nope, we still have about 2 seconds, 1 second. And that is going to do it for the end of the first half. Takedown just as the horn sounded as Kalen Diggs got knocked down. But at the end of the first half of play, the Air Force Academy Falcons leading the Bryant University Bulldogs, 5th highest scoring team in the country, Danny, and they only have 2 goals. We'll talk about it when we return at the intermission. You're watching Air Force Lacrosse. This is Falcon Vision.
Hamburgers and hot dogs and kielbasa.
A team that was averaging almost 16 goals per game, fifth highest scoring team in the country in lacrosse, has been held to 2 as Bryant University trails the Air Force Academy by the score of 6-2. I'm Jeffrey Orman along with Danny Bellissimo, and well, we talked about it at the start of the show, and so far it has come to fruition. It has been defense, defense, and in case you missed it, more defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Air Force's defense is playing a superb game so far. Coaching staff, hats off to them. They obviously prepared for this game really well all week long. But, you know, Bryant's lucky that the game is at 6-2 because Air Force has thrown away I don't know how many balls today just on errant passes, errant catches, to the point where if I was Bill Will, I call a timeout. I send the entire team up to the overlook and tell them to come back.
You take a look at the Halliday Athletic Center in the background. Here's the opening highlights as the first goal of the match. It was being scored by Gavin Payne. It came off of a block. Nice play by Jason Rose, who's had to play big today, and so far he's delivered the goods.
Yeah, and then after that, you know, here's some of Air Force's goals from the first half. You know, another thing that Bryant got lucky on is besides these goals that Air Force scored, they've rang at least 3 pipes so far this half.
There's Ethan Grandolfo. That is his second goal of the match. Gavin Payne getting the opener for Air Force. That was the second one by Grandolfo, and he wasn't done yet. As you get another look at the goal. And Air Force, as we mentioned, not quite done yet, as this one is in for a shot. Wes Payne getting on the board, along with what would be number 3 for Ethan Grandolfo, his third hat trick of the season, as we mentioned. Here's Wes Payne. Boom.
There's that shot that could have taken down that Chinese spy balloon right there. Correction from the old alumni. It wasn't 60,000 feet. It was 69,000 feet. My apologies for having my intel wrong, boys.
No matter. And there's a score. That is off the stick of number 5. That's Aiden Tolan who got that one. And the Falcons leading by the score of 6-2. But Ethan wasn't done yet. As we mentioned, he has a hat trick here in the first half. And whether or not it's Chinese spy balloons or the goaltender from Bryant University, ball is finding the back of the cage. Falcons off to a strong start after the first 30 minutes of play by the score of 6-2. We're going to take a break and then review some halftime highlights when we return right after this. You're watching Air Force Lacrosse. This is Falcon Vision. Quick check of the halftime stats. Shots by period favors Air Force 20-13. Ground balls by period is all knotted up at 16 and 16. Face-off violations, I think a key factor. Bryant has been whistled twice. Air Force has yet to be called. Face-offs by period. And on the game, 5 for 10, 50% for Air Force. Dramatic improvement over 31% coming in into the game. As far as the clears by period, 7 of 10 by the Bulldogs. Falcons 12 of 16. Extra man opportunities, 2 for 2 for Air Force. Bryant has yet to convert. And the saves by period, 7 by Bryant, 4 by Air Force. Turnovers by period, 11-10. That's got to be a factor for the Falcons, but more importantly, the score is 6-2. Danny, we start the third period, and you pointed out a very interesting statistic. The third quarter could be a key factor for the Air Force Academy Falcons.
Yeah, so far this season, Air Force in the third period has been outscored by their opponents 24-17. Air Force is up by 6-2. It should be a bit of a bigger score due to how many turnovers they had, how many times they rang the pipe, but this is not a team that you can allow to score in bunches because they will close that gap very quick. So hopefully Air Force fix their sticks over in their GE-style locker rooms behind Club Astro, and they're ready to start putting some more points on the board here.
Gabe will get the honors of doing the second half face-off, and when we get a moment here, and no surprise here, the Bryant Bulldogs will get that. Actually, the Bulldogs do win the face-off, but Air Force dramatic improvement. Bill Wilson getting some people moved around. The Bulldogs moving from right to left, that is from south to north here at the Lacrosse field. They may get a look, knocked away by one of the Falcons and right back into the stick of the Bulldogs as they work around the perimeter to try and cut into a 6-2 lead here at the half. I think everybody's a little bit stunned on that. Here is a look, here's a shot, and it is knocked away.
You know, Aiden Goltz with the dodge right there. He did another overhead swim like he's Jay Jalbert. You know, I'm hoping Scott Poplar or one of the other coaches are noticing that to tell whoever's covering that guy that he's almost a one-trick pony with his dodges.
34 seconds left to go on the shot clock. Bulldogs in the second half with the possession. Shad Bruce takes a man down that gets a 50-50 ball, and Air Force has it.
That is how, for all the young kids watching at home, that is how you play topside defense for a guy driving from the X. That was absolutely textbook.
Tommy Hellman dealing it off to Driggs.
Air Force is going to slow this up, get all their offensive personnel on the field. Looks like Ethan Grandolfo's coming in.
You don't want to get too excited. Just keep working that clock.
Aiden Tolan's on the field. Looks like they got their full complement out there, and they'll start working their offense.
And James Chastain moving around over there, but right now the attention is being focused on the south end of the field as the Falcons looking for that first goal of the second half. Grandolfo's already wearing a hat today. See the time remaining on the shot clock in the background. There's a shot and another play by Alexander Teague. Alexander's played a pretty solid game, I think, in the net for the Bulldogs today.
Yeah, he's definitely improving on that 47% save percentage. He had a real nice step there. That was a good-looking shot. Maybe a little higher it would have went in, but tipped the cap to Teagan Alexander there. It was a nice step, nice save.
We are underway in the third period. Grandolfo with a hat trick already today. Here come the Bulldogs as they try to cut the lead. I thought they might have a look there. Let's see if we get that swim move. Off now to number 10. That's going. Falcons really riding. They put him down. They knock him down. Here's a shot, and it is knocked away. Falcons have possession. They could be running the break here. Number 15 trying to lead the charge. That's going to be Sam Ewing. Instead, they're going to, I think, hold it up.
Yeah, Sam Ewing running down the sideline there with one hand on the stick, holding it out like he just pulled out a hot pizza from the oven, a la Timmy Haid, class of 2005.
And right now, the Falcons will just look for that open shot. Don't get, as you mentioned, the shots on goal is Luke Bransky getting a touch for Air Force. Luke. Kind of surprised that Spencer Clark's playing off of him a little bit, Danny. I would think they'd try to ride a little bit harder, don't you think? Here they go in front of the... Okay, we've got a fresh 80 on the shot clock. Falcons being physical on that.
Air Force needs to look for the quick start. The goalie's out of the cage right there.
Yep, that was Tegan Alexander. They could have had a gift goal there. Instead, they'll get a fresh 80. Still trying to work. Alexander knocks it away. And here come the Bulldogs, number 29, Keaton Jones, bring it in to the attack zone.
Air Force needs to be more heads up on the end line over there with the goalie out of the cage. You're allowed to quick start it as soon as you're ready. You look at the ref, and he's going to blow that whistle.
See the time remaining in the third quarter, just underway. Bulldogs trying to have this score if they can. Number 34 for the Bulldogs, that's Goltz. He has one of 2 goals for the Bryant University this afternoon. Still cradling, trying to get it in front. Ground ball, 50-50. Another takedown. Bulldogs still in possession. 27 seconds left to go in the shot clock. Good ride by Air Force. Oh, they really frustrated the number 22 on that one. That was Hackett. Falcons still playing tough, still pushing them off. There's a look, and there's a shot and a score. That's number 9 who puts it in the can. That is going to be Kevin Grunninger.
Bulldogs goal, number 9.
Yeah, if you watch the replay on this, they didn't wind it back far enough, but Air Force's defenseman behind the cage that was covering them got stuck ball watching, which allowed number 9 for Bryant to just walk in one-on-one with Jason Rose.
Groninger cuts the lead in half now for the Bryant University Bulldogs. And suddenly it's starting to get a little bit more interesting. Once again, here is the face-off. And Bryant will get possession. Falcons really starting to press that defense a little bit there, Danny. They're starting to get a little nasty. They're going to start getting in the face of these Bulldogs a little bit. Intensity of the game, I think, feeling that this thing is going to start picking up a little bit.
Yep, and we talked about it when we came back from halftime, that goal differential Air Force has had in the third quarter. So they need to just relax, realize they put 1 on the board, not a big deal. Just keep playing the way you've been playing defense the entire game.
Yep, no reason to panic. Bryant still in possession of the ball. Second meeting between these two schools. Air Force winning the first match on the road, 16-10. Now the Bulldogs working that ball around, but I'll tell you what, there is a white and blue jersey right in front of just about every Bulldog, Danny. They are really trying to D up and get in the face of this offense right now.
Yeah, one of the most impressive things about Air Force's defense, it's not stuff that you're going to really hear mostly on broadcasts, but real good defense, but it's the second slides, because Bryant's been looking to feed that pass, but the second slide is covering his man, and they're getting the stick in the passing lane, just like Jason Rose did there.
Been playing strong today. And here come the Falcons, as they will come into the attack zone. Leading by the score of 6-3, as you see. A little over 8 minutes left to play here in period number 3.
But real nice heads-up play by Jason Rose there. He realized the attackman didn't get wide enough. The attackman that was behind the goal was right up on the crease, so he didn't even have to step out too far to intercept that pass like he was Darrell Revis, best corner in the history of the NFL, going to the Hall of Fame.
I think we have a Jets fan in the booth.
Maybe a little bit.
A little bit, right?
I think there's a lot of Jets fans watching too, so don't worry. I have my phone open. We're on Aaron Rodgers' watch. I will be the one that breaks the news if he signs today. Oh, yard sale.
There is a takedown. We're going to have a...
I haven't seen a wraparound check like that since Brad Turner, class of 98, constantly stripping the ball from Doug Ventrano, class of 99. Nice job out there.
Aiden Tolan triggering the ball into play for the Falcons. Grandolfo and Wes Peen playing catch here on the near side. Now Wes already has a goal on the day. Griggs as he looks for someplace to go. And that one was stopped. Teague Alexander with another stop for the Bulldogs. Obviously playing one of his best games, I would think, of the year. Now his offense has got to come alive, and so far the Falcon defense has said, not here, you won't.
Yeah, I mean, they got a shot on Cage there, but he had to go through 2 long poles to do that. If you're going through 2 long poles, you should be giving the ball up.
Air Force starting to play physical lacrosse right here, and that was a result of a nice bump. Iago to Grandolfo. Falcons still working that ball around on the outside. I think this is Aiden Tolan with the cradle. This man has not scored yet, Brandon Dodd. He's been very quiet so far. Let's see if that will change. It's been pretty much an Air Force afternoon. The only, I guess you could say, mark. Alexander has been playing strong. There was a shot on goal by, I think it was Isaac Abramowitz, if I read that number correctly. Now here come the Bulldogs on the cradle. Right now, Danny, if you're Air Force, you're up by 3 goals, 6-3. I don't think you change too much. I think you try to avoid the turnovers. That's about it right now.
Yeah, you know, obviously I get paid to fly airplanes and sit in the booth next to you, but if I'm Coach Wilson, next time we get the offensive ball, I'm calling timeout and settling down the offense. The defense has been playing great. The offense just isn't getting the greatest looks on the cage, and I want to get a set offensive piece.
Here's Shad Bruce, who's going to pick it up and bring it into the attack zone for Air Force. He dishes off to the right side. And there's a shot and a score.
I stand corrected. Coach Wilson, that's why I'm up here. You're down there. You didn't call timeout.
Number 17, Chris Bryant.
The long stick coming in hot. I think Coach Wilson just called in a 9-line from the sideline, and then
yeah,
good effects.
Chris Bardock from the getting the goal for Air Force, and I think that's his first, and it is. So welcome to the scoring parade, Chris. And it's now a 7-3 game in favor of the Falcons. Here we go with the face-off. Possession will go to Bryant. And right now, they may have to start, well, it's still the third period with 4:39 left, but you can't help but wonder if the Bulldogs don't need to start taking some shots right now, if they get any kind of a look, or is it too early for that? I mean, they're down by 4.
Yeah, I think it's too early for that. They just got to start doing their offense, the offense that, you know, made them the number 5 team in the nation in scoring. I would wait until maybe the fourth quarter where I start to go into desperation. But there again, second slides coming in, making sure the guy streaking down the middle is not catching the ball.
21, Cody Gross clearing, getting the loose ball for the Falcons. Let's see if the Falcons can capitalize on some mistakes. Galen Driggs. Here is Josh Iago. He'll work behind the net. Was Peen, I think, getting a touch. Again, Danny, I kind of surprised that the Bulldogs are playing off. The spacing, I think, might be in question a little bit. I would think they'd be starting to get a little bit tighter, if you will. They would start getting man-to-man. No matter, it's a goal.
Yeah, so if you watch this possession by Air Force, this is just a great job. Bryant came out with a press defense. They're trying to lock off the next man, but the ball movement just got them one slide behind by the time it got to Aiden Tolan right there, and he just buries a goal for Air Force.
That's his second of the day, and the Falcons now lead it by 5.
But this is what we were talking about in the first quarter. You can see that Bryant's defense is all the way out by the 40-yard line, and I was wondering if they were going to have the legs for that in the second half, and you could see they're one slide behind by the time the ball got to Aiden Tolan.
No doubt about it. 8-3 in favor of the Air Force Academy Falcons as Aiden Tolan has a 5-goal lead. I think we have a violation that should go over to the Bulldogs. And the Falcons with a chance to get another big win here at home against a team that came into the country with a lot of firepower, but they've been held in check. Boy, have they ever, about 12 goals under their average. Now they come on the attack. Now notice the defense for Air Force, how they've been checking, how they've been pushing off. They're getting in the face of everybody. They're making the lives a little difficult out there.
Yeah, Air Force has been, this is textbook topside all day long. Sticks on the guy as soon as he starts that dodge and just disrupting them, not letting them do what they want.
Take down from behind by number 17. That's Chris Bardock. Still have some time remaining here in the match, but I think the Falcons starting to feel pretty good right now. Luke Mead now checking in. Don't want to put the cart before the horse, but the Falcons' defense, I don't think there's any question today. It has been the D that's carried them today. There's a shot to score. Falcons starting to put the burn on now.
That's just a huge heads-up play by Jason Rose. He recognized that Bryant went into that 10-man immediately, and he just dropped a 70-yard bomb. On DZ, I'll give you a PI for your drop score on that one.
And take a look at this shot.
And then after that, goalie's out of the cage, gets it to Dodd, throws it in an empty netter. That all started with Jason Rhodes' heads-up play, recognizing the 10-man, and then just dropping a 70-yard dime.
Great pass, and it resulted in the score right there. And Falcons starting to open up a little daylight here. 9-3 against the Bryant Bulldogs. Got it. And the man that's been kind of like missing in action as far as the scoring parade for Air Force, but that was all set up by a great pass by Rose. That is a highlighter right there. Start to finish.
If he's not on ESPN Top 10 tonight, I'm writing a complaint over to ESPN.
Well, they need to see that because that was one heck of a pass. And Dodd gets the job done, and Falcons up by 6. And on the attack once more. Brandon retrieving on the backside. Almost 66 seconds left to play in the third period. 5th-ranked team in the country has been held in check. Boy, have they ever. 9-3, you see the score. And they're looking for some more, and they may have had it. Nope, not quite, I don't think. Another stop by Alexander. Good play there. Give kudos to number 73, Tegan Alexander.
That was a nice save. I think Yago wants that shot back because he just went stick side high and kind of put it right into his stick there. But I give goalies as much credit as they deserve.
There you go. So right now it might be a little bit of a desperation time for the Bulldogs, but they've got to figure out how to get past this physical defense that the Air Force has been putting on. They have a look here. Reverse shot, score.
think that's his second of the day.
Bulldogs go to number 9, Kevin Gruninger.
And that is Kevin Gruninger. He has hit the last 2 for the Bryant University Bulldogs. 9-4 is the score.
Yeah, it looked like Jason Rose got screened on that one. He put that shot right over the defenseman's shoulder, and I don't think Jason Rose ever saw the ball come out on that one.
So we'll probably get the face-off and then the end of the third period. Once again, the face-off going to the Bulldogs. And now they're really starting to fire. This one is high. It's going to be covered in the crease area. And at the end of 3 periods of play, Air Force 9, Bryant University 4. You're watching Air Force Lacrosse. This is Falcon Vision. While we have a moment, let's acknowledge some of the other Air Force Academy Falcon teams that are in action this weekend at the NCAA Track and Field Championships in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Sam Gilman will be competing tonight in the 3,000-meter run. That'll be a final. In Air Force Boxing, in the Western Regional in Concord, California, 19 boxers have qualified, but congratulations in the women's 125 to Ali Tirado Elias, and in the women's 156, Hannah Schuster. Last night, in the 132, Garrett Kim advanced. And in baseball, the defending Mountain West Conference champion Air Force Academy Falcons begin the defense of their title, and they opened with a 9-7 extra inning victory over the Lobos of New Mexico. Here we go with the fourth and final quarter, with the Falcons on top by the score of 9-3. Falcons moving from right to left as they're in the attack zone. Oh, Iago, I thought might have had an opportunity to maybe make a nice pass, but unfortunately his feet gave out. I thought this was a home field advantage. What is this? So now the Bulldogs will have to start peppering the goal, and they do. First goal of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was just a low-to-low shot there. Beat Jason Rose.
Ryan Dobrinsky getting the score. And now it is a 9-5 match. I'll tell you one thing, they've had some...
I think that was 34, Aiden Goltz.
34? We'll correct that, 34, Aiden Goltz. That'll be his second goal of the match. And again, the face-off to the Bulldogs. Probably will waste no time trying to put something in the can. Bulldogs being coached by Brad Ross. This is his first year as head coach of the Bulldogs. Had coaching stints at Ohio State and at the Naval Academy. He's a former Duke Blue Devil. Here's a shot that goes a little bit high. Bill Wilson, of course, the head coach of the Air Force Academy Falcons. Bryant taking a little bit of time and putting the ball in play. They certainly want to.
It's like Air Force's defense is hung up.
Good ride there. Now they come on the attack. Lots of time left on the shot clock. Here's a man with 2 goals already. He's trying to penetrate inside. His shot a little bit on the high side.
I don't know about that one.
I think we just had well, we're going to have a discussion inside the crease. Let's see what's going on here.
Looks like Bryant's going to go man up here. That guy tried to post up right there on the crease. They're calling a push in from behind with possession. But if you're going to get that close to the crease, you got to expect some physical play there. Bryant's going to go up, man up for 30.
They're 10th in the country in scoring opportunities in that department. So they have a chance to cut this thing down a little bit farther.
The Falcons, number 21, Cody Gross. Push from behind. That's a 30-second penalty.
They're going to whistle that on Cody Gross, so he'll be in the sin bin for 30 seconds. Now, can the Bulldogs take advantage with 60 on the shot clock? As we mentioned, with a man up, the Bulldogs are 10th in the country in scoring. So they can take advantage, and right now just trying to work it. They may get a look here. They'll fire, and nothing.
It's a nice save by Jason Rose.
Reset the shot clock. 6 seconds, you should see, left to go in the penalty.
Looks like we got Bruce up at the face-off X. He's coming back in.
Full strength now. Full strength. And Rose, I think, with another pickup. And he's going to get the outlet pass. Here comes Josh Yago. Yago being chased by behind. Work that ball off to the right side. I think right now the coach is on the sideline saying, settle down, run the offense.
Yep, they're calling yellow, saying slow it down, let us get everybody we want out here because we're going from man-down personnel out there to our full offensive contingent. So call the yellow, slow it down. Look how far Bryant's defense is out there again. We'll see how that works out for him.
Tolan Grandolfo and West Peen, and Peen let one fly. Falcons, I think, will pick that one up, and that is going to be Keelan Driggs. Triggers it back in play.
Here's what we saw at the end of the second half. Ethan Grandolfo taking the shorty behind.
Grandolfo working that ball around. Patience, prudence, patience. West Peen. Back to Grandolfo. And Tolan trying to maybe try a reverse spin move. Now he'll dump it down, and I think that was intended for Ethan Grandolfo, but it got away.
Yeah, that's not exactly the dodge Air Force's offense is looking for. You always want to dodge the short sticks. You don't want to dodge the long poles.
Well, the Falcons put a little bit of heat on that Bulldog offense as they come into the attack zone. Johnny Hellman getting a stick on the offensive player. Now a double team. They'll try to work around it.
Bryant called timeout. Very wise.
Yeah, I think that double team is what probably instituted the timeout. So we'll take a timeout as well. 11:24 left to play in the game with the Air Force Academy Falcons leading it by the score of 9-5 over Bryant University. You're watching Air Force Lacrosse. This is Falcon Nation. Some of the Bryant faithful across the way trying to fire up their team as you see the score with 11:24 left to play here in the fourth and final quarter. Bryant getting that last time out, Danny, and it'll be interesting to see what they are going to discuss, or what they have discussed, as they'll trigger the ball and play on the attack side of the field. It'll be number 22. That is Johnny Hackett. He has a goal today for the Bulldogs. See what adjustments they are going to make. There's a shot. It's right in front of the cage, and I think that ball is going to be scooped up by Rose. And Air Force will...
They're going to call interference with Jason Rose while he was still in the crease. That gives Air Force a free clear and a full-up 80-second shot clock on the offensive side of the field.
Take the breaks as you can get them. Falcons, of course, will be on the road the next 2 weekends. And they'd like to leave here with a nice W against a very high-scoring team, which they have held in check. They'll be in Queens, North Carolina. That'll be an ASUN conference game. And then they'll take on the Duke Blue Devils the week after that. Here's a shot. That's going to go wide left. I think that might have been Josh Yago who pulled the trigger on that one. Falcons D has played strong thus far.
Turnover 45.
And it looks like the goalie coming out of the crease. And Bryant will be able to put it in play. Falcons making some substitutions on the fly. Here's a double team. And down goes Alexander. That's the other Alexander, I think. That's Tanner Alexander.
Going to call another push from behind with possession, give Bryant man up another 30-second opportunity here.
So 30 seconds. And, boy, that could almost be called a slash, couldn't it, Danny? As we looked at number 15 getting the stick in there. That was Sam Ewing.
Wide 21 push, 30 seconds.
All right, so it will be called a push, 30 seconds. Can the Bulldogs take advantage?
30-second penalty.
They already had one 30-second penalty burn, so once again the Falcons will be asked to do it again.
Yeah, last time Air Force's man-down defense was out here, they did something to frustrate him because Bryant's offense did an absolute no-no, and that's dodging while man up.
And the Falcons starting to put a little bit of pressure. They'll probably be playing it fairly deep. There's a shot on the score, and they do take advantage. Number 34, that man again, and give him a hat trick. And that is going to be Aiden Goltz.
Assist to number 22, Johnny.
He's from Newport Beach, California, and he's wearing the hat for the Bulldogs this afternoon. And suddenly it's a 9-6 game as Mr. Goltz has put 3 in the back.
Yeah, Bryant's offense did a pretty nice job just moving the ball, catching Air Force in the middle of a slide, getting a good look. Jason Rose almost got his leg on that, but he was able to sneak it right inside the pipe.
And scored the last 2 goals at the Bulldogs to make it a 9-6 match. And what do we have here? Are we looking at the clock? Are we looking at time? What are we looking at here? As the referee is pointing to the south end of the field. And here is a big, big possession for the Air Force Academy Falcons as they win that one. They have a look and a shot on the score right off the face-off, I believe. I think that is the score. Yes, sir.
Falcons go.
Braden Gabb.
Number 29, Braden A.
This is just all-out hustle. If we watch this replay here, he gets beat on the face-off. But he just says, I'm going to work harder than you. Boxes him out even though the Bryant Fogo got the clamp. Picks up the ground ball, puts his head down, just goes straight to the cage. But that was a timely goal because did you see how energized he just got the Air Force bench and the Air Force crowd when he scored that goal?
Absolutely he did. Everybody enjoying that one. I don't think we've had a chance to call his named too many times, and that might be his first of the year. I'm doing a real quick stat check, and it is. And what a time to get it, eh?
Yep.
Falcons go up 10-6 as you see the time remaining. And here come the Bulldogs. This is number 31. This is Timmy Hackett. Brother already has a goal for Bryant today.
Chris Bardock with a nice little interception there. Little fancy stick work there.
There's a shot and a score. Oh, that was a long-range bomb there.
Shad Bruce there.
Falcons go.
So after the Bulldogs scored 2 in a row to make it 9-6, the Falcons say, okay, try this on for size, and they score the next 2, and it's 11-6.
Yep. Air Force, I like what they're doing here. This is an absolute team game because these last 2 goals are not from Air Force's offensive personnel. We got a Fogo going down, hard to the cage, scoring. And there we got a D midi, Shad Bruce getting the feed from our long stick midi, Chris Bardock, to bury it. So our defensive personnel are putting in the offensive work right now.
And now the Bulldogs are going to have to start firing. They do. That's wide left. Follow shot. Nothing there. And
good backups going to Air Force.
I think the Falcons are starting to feel a little bit comfortable, leading 11-6. I can tell you right now, a couple of them were working on their dance steps.
So Bryant went back into that 10-man ride. We just went with the 80-yard shot. Air Force gets the ball. It becomes an easy clear now.
It may be. They may have to go 10. They may have to put everybody in the pool now. I'm speaking of Bryant University right now.
And I think I speak for all Air Force lacrosse alumni that you never feel comfortable in an Air Force lacrosse game until the final whistle blows.
Aiden Tolan. Here's Brandon Dodd. He may have a look. He fires, and it's going to be off the stick. Ground ball picked up by Bryant. That's a good point.
That was a real nice shake and bake by Brandon Dodd there. Bryant's goalie was able to get his foot on that just before it went into the back of the cage.
All right, and here come the Falcons, and they're on the run. In the attack zone. You don't want to get sloppy right now. I think that's the key. Again, the coach is saying settle down. Let's not get too crazy here.
Yeah, with 7 minutes left, you don't want to push a bad scenario and all of a sudden give the ball back up and have Bryant's offense coming back with a possession.
Randolph with a fire, but Tegan Alexander knocking that one away. Josh Iago setting up on the backside. Josh working it around. Brandon Dodd with a touch. Just kind of in Tolan. West Payne back to Tolan. Don't just start extending that defense a little bit, Danny, and trying to come out and try to make something happen. They've been sitting back there most of the day. Ground ball, now loose ball being picked up. Now the Bryant University will now get the turnover. I think right now the Bulldogs, who are they going to try and get that ball to? I would think number 34 would be my guess, Aiden Goltz. He's got a hat trick today for the Bulldogs. Too much in front of that goal. A lot of traffic in front of that goal for Air Force. There's a shot that goes wide left. Nothing there. Bulldogs trying to reload and get something going now. Well, that cage is open, but now it's shut down quickly. And there's Dylan Rose, outlet pass, coming to Shad Bruce. Falcons on the run. Driggs.
I think we could have called a 1 minute slash right there, but I think the referees were looking at something else. We'll call it Danny 2, ref 0 on that one if I was keeping score.
Well, I will guarantee you're not the only one that was having a discussion with the referees about a possible 1 minute slash. 1 minute penalty there. You're not the only one. Here come the fact. Drops the ball. Not a good thing there. But quickly recovered by number 14, Luke Vransky. Here is the feed.
Got away with one there. Yago had a real nice pickup there. Looks like Yago might be a little hurt there. A bunch of blood coming down his leg.
Got 2 seconds. I think, 20 seconds. I'm sorry. Some photographers screened me out there. And a dodge to Yago. Yago coming. And a wraparound and another save by Alexander. Good play there. Knocks it away.
Air Force should just drop it right here because they're going to get a shot clock violation. There's 2 seconds.
You're telling the photographer to get out of the way because he's blocking the shot clock down there. Galen Driggs.
Yeah, Air Force is just going to drop that there and get back into their ride.
No, Brian German, it was not one of our people. I can vouch for that. We are professionals here. All right, the Falcons with 4:27 left to go.
Number 31 for Bryant heard the footsteps. Got a little tense over there. Whenever you're clearing towards the box side where all the substitutions come in and out, you're always thinking in the back of your head, I'm about to get my clock cleaned. And I think he picked up his head before he actually caught that pass, and it ended up going out of bounds. Air Force ball.
See, the time remaining gives us an opportunity to thank our Falcon Vision crew. Our broadcast today has been directed by Brian German, Vince Greco, Joey Partridge, Adam Napick, the camera crew, and Merritt Oberlin providing the replays and graphics. And, of course, I've neglected to do this all season long, but that stops today. Sports Information Director for Lacrosse here at the Air Force Academy. Thank you, Marcus Rodriguez. Falcons looking pretty good right now with a 5-goal lead. Probably want to put a little icing on the cake, I would imagine, Danny, as this ball is tapped up in the air, but Aiden Tolan will retrieve. And it is just a case of, well, we said it before, almost ad nauseum, run the offense. There's a shot in tight. Alexander with a save. Team making a nice play.
Yeah, Bryant's gone into a zone defense, and they're pretty much just giving up outside shots. That one, they got the ball snuck through all the way to the crease. Dodd had a pretty good look at the cage, but Bryant's goalie came up with a pretty nice save there.
Well, they're going to go with 10, I think, now on the attack. Trying to get something going there, and again, Rose clearing. And just as he was about ready to, his feet were about ready to give way, then Cody Gross got rid of it, but now Bryant has it. Now we got a 50-50 ball. Air Force has it. Again, the coach is saying, settle it down, settle it down.
Yeah, that would have been 1-on-5 if he pressed it to the cage, so heads up by Coach Thompson down there, who is very, I think people in Wyoming could hear him yelling yellow at that point.
Animated, I think. Falcons looking for their 4th win of the 2023 campaign against 2 losses and a clean slate here at the Academy at their home field. Ball is down, ball is out.
I think Coach got a timeout there. Nice job. So Bryant was in a zone defense on that last possession. Now they're going 10-man. They got the goalie out of the cage. Coach recognized that, called timeout to get the proper call.
Go ahead and keep it here, as this should be a very brief timeout. 2:03 left to go. Falcons, as you see, with a 5-goal lead. I think if you had asked me coming into this game whether the Falcons could hold Bryant University to single digits, I would have scratched my head a little bit. They did it against Denver University. They held them to 8. And I think, and I want to do a real quick check here, and I'm almost certain I am right. Yep, this would be a season. This would be the fewest goals allowed by Air Force this year if it holds up like this, 11-6.
Yeah, obviously Bryant's coming in here with a better record. They're 4-1, compared to Air Force's record. But if you look at Air Force's opponents, they're playing ranked guys. They're playing Ohio State. They're playing Denver. Bryant's coming into this game having played Providence, Boston University, Quinnipiac, and Manhattan. So little different of a scale of opponents, if you will.
The season low as far as allowing goals was 8 against Mercer. I think I mentioned it was Denver. They allowed 10 in that one, but who cares? They won the game. But right now the season low as far as fewest goals allowed, that was against Mercer. And that was on the road last week, and of course it was a conference match. So the Falcons, as a result, something that we did touch on briefly, they are 1-0 in ASUN conference play. There you get a look at number 42. That's Hunter Panzik going out on the field for the Air Force Academy Falcons. Well, I'll tell you, Danny, as far as picking a player of the game, I think he could almost pull about 3 or 4. I mean, there's been some big plays made out there.
With today's performance and the fact that I'm just a military guy, so you never want to put just one person on a pedestal, I put Air Force's defense as the player of the game.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. Here's Brandon Dodd. He has a goal on the day. They'll run a spread offense right now. Long pass across, and that was kind of tricky. Ball is kind of loose, and it's picked over by the Bulldogs of Bryant University.
Yeah, Bryant's out there in the press with the goalie covering somebody. He recognized he had 2 poles and he was up against the sideline. He tried to throw a cross-field pass and just couldn't handle it.
Falcons, and this one gets away. Picked up by Bryant. 71 seconds left to go. I think now you can wave the checkered flag in. I think the only drama left is to see if the Falcons could hold them at 6 goals or at the worst 7, because this, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, the 6 goals allowed by Air Force, that's the lowest that they have allowed all year long. Previously it was Mercer with 8.
We got a D-Mitty with the ball right now. Looks like Bryant's going to stay man-on-man because they know he's not a normal ball handler. But as soon as it gets to somebody, one of the offensive personnel, expect the goalie to come out and then to start doubling the ball. And here comes the double. Just want to remind Coach Wilson he's got a timeout.
Well, the goalie has been pulled, and I think are we going to get a timeout called by 21 seconds, and we'll go ahead and just keep it here.
Coach Wilson must have heard me from the booth.
4-2 on the year. The Falcons are about to move into that position. They are perfect at home at 3-0. They'll be on the road next weekend to Queens, North Carolina. That'll be an ASUN conference game. Then they'll go to Durham to take on Duke University. And then the next 2 games, and as a matter of fact, after Duke, everything from here on in will be ASUN conference play with Lindenwood on the 25th of March. And then the 29th will be Utah. That ought to be a fight.
Just got word, one of our viewers that's watching today's game is Lieutenant Colonel retired Jay Agnew, class of 2001. Heck of a lacrosse player out there, but what he's most proud of during his time here is getting the coveted Bird Award in recognition of his military discipline and acumen, which ended up getting him brought back here as an AOC.
Colonel, congratulations. That's a lovely, that's great stuff. That's good stuff. Glad that we're staying in touch with some of our alums.
Yeah, trying to.
He got the Bird Award. I suppose you could interpret that a couple of ways, couldn't you? But I mean,
it's this wooden statue of a falcon that they hand out, and as soon as they hand it to the recipient, the entire cadet wing will yell out, "The Bird."
The Bird. Hey, that's still nice to have in the house, isn't it? Hey, I just got a bird. Oh, I'll tell you, there are some traditions here, aren't there? Some good stuff. All right, the Falcons trying to play out the last 17 seconds. Josh Yago being chased, but
you can tell, you look at these defensemen for Bryant trying to keep up with Yago. Yago's quick to begin with, but, all of a sudden we're 7,000 feet. They're just going to get rid of it. Game over.
And that is it. 11-6. The Falcons defeat Bryant University, and they defeat a team that was coming in averaging almost 15 goals per game. They held them 9 below their average, and they go 4-2 on the year. They are undefeated at home, and they win it by the score of 11-6. We'll take a break, come back, show you some highlights, and we'll talk about our players. And Danny Bellissimo, I agree with you. You should bring the whole defensive team up here. 11-6, your final. Air Force wins it. You're watching Air Force Lacrosse. This is Falcon Vision. So there you see the final score. The Air Force Academy Falcons defeating Bryant University 11-6. The Falcons extend their win streak to 2 in a row. And for the Bulldogs, they have their 3-game win streak snapped as the Falcons win 11-6 and hold the 5th-ranked team in scoring, Danny Bellissimo, to only 6 goals. How did they do it? Well, we're going to show you, folks. And if you guess that they must have played defense, you would be correct.
Yeah, it all started right there with Jason Rose. He had a big day in the Cates today. You just saw that big stuff. He needs to take out that index finger, just give it a wag, a la Dikembe Mutombo. But there you see Chris Bardock just putting a laser behind the goal.
And Chris is going to be our player of the game. He had just had a very, very solid performance by the defense. This was just one of many. I mean, you wanted goaltending, check. You wanted to get the ground balls, check. You wanted to improve on the face-offs, check. And there is another goal scored by Air Force. But maybe the most spectacular came here. A long outlet pass. And then to Brandon Dodd, who finished it, and then right off the face-off, and you talked about it, never say die, never quit, number 29. Here is Braden Gabe. Boom! Right in the basket.
Yeah, you can see these 2 back-to-back goals. You know, offense. Air Force's offense wasn't getting on the board, and all of a sudden the defensive personnel took over that game. Starting from the Fogo, and then Bardock bringing the ball across, getting it to a D Mitty, who just buries another goal.
Well, he just came in the booth. I wonder if we can replay one of his goals again for him. But anyway, Chris Bardock was going to be our player of the game. A tremendous performance by him. Chris, I'm telling you, what a performance by the Falcons today. You're coming up against a team that is one of the top scoring teams in the country, averaging almost 15 goals per game. You held them to 6. What was the story today? We say defense. There had to be some other things going on as well.
I think we prepared for them well all week. It was a team effort, offense, defense. Everyone executed the way we wanted to, and defense play as a team. I think we played our first four quarters full of a game this year, so that's the result.
It's also the fewest goals allowed by Air Force this year. I don't think there was anything more that could be done. Talk about your goal today.
It's been a while since I had one, so just saw the opportunity, I let it rip. So,
talk a little bit about this team as we're going to show it to you. As a matter of fact, watch this. Nice wind up.
Oh yeah, nice power bouncer. Yep. Yeah.
And
it's always good to get one transition.
There you go. I'm glad we
Yeah.
had a chance to show that to you and show it to the folks back home. Let's talk a little bit about this 2023 club. Obviously, I think you were picked to finish maybe 4th in the ASUN conference, and a little bit about this team and what still needs to be done.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great program overall, but I feel like we got a bunch of special guys this year on the team. Bunch of freshmen stepping up and taking bigger roles. I think we got a lot of potential in the future. We got to keep working. No complacency. So we got a lot of games ahead. Bulk of our season's coming. We just got to keep our head down and working. And I think if we keep doing that, we're gonna have a really good end of the season. So
you do have a couple of road games. You play Duke University, but you do have a conference game. You're 1-0 in ASUN conference play. So obviously, week after week, just trying to get better, I would imagine.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. You have had a tremendous
Thank you,
day.
sir.
Great defense.
Appreciate
We'll
it.
let you go celebrate with your teammates.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate
Thank you for being the player of the game. Chris Bardock, our player of the game, as we will come back and take a break and review some of the final stats as we have them for you. Air Force wins it by the score of 11-6. You're watching Air Force Lacrosse. This is Falcon Vision. Back once again at the United States Air Force Academy. The Falcons go 4-2 on the year with an 11-6 victory over Bryant University. That snaps the Bulldogs' 3-game win streak, but more importantly, one of the leading teams in the country as far as scoring, held to 6 points. Joining me now, the head coach of the Air Force Academy Falcons, Bill Wilson. Coach, what more can you say about the defense? It was awesome today.
Our guys played hard for 4 quarters, and that was a challenge going into the game. To make sure we stop runs and continue to build for 4 quarters instead of letting the other team go on a run.
I think you can check the box as far as stopping the runs. I think their biggest run was all of 2 goals, and then you countered. You also scored when it started to get a little more interesting. You too countered with 2 consecutive goals, and that helped in the 11-6 victory. Coach, I know I know you have a tired voice. I think you were probably saying a few things out there, but let's talk a little bit. One of the things I wanted to talk about was the face-off. And I think you improved dramatically today on that.
Well, I think at the face-off dot, we had guys battling for 4 quarters, where they might have won control of the ball, but we ended up battling for ground balls for 4 quarters. And we're really proud of the guys for their effort on the wings and their effort off the ground and at both ends. Ground balls were close to even today, but that is a very good Bryant team, and they always battle. They always play hard. So I'm proud of our guys for matching that intensity level and then taking it up a notch.
Coach, you mentioned the ground balls. I thought Chris Bardock, who was our player of the game, he played big for you today as well, didn't he?
Chris Bardock is a warrior. He always plays hard. He sets the tone for the team and for all the guys on the defensive end with that play off the ground and just his intensity level. So, he's continuing to do this, and we look forward to working hard next week to get ready for our next opponent.
And that will be a conference opponent, and you're 1-0 at ASUN play. And obviously, things still need to be done. What are you looking for as far as next week? I know you have Duke University, but that's not on your mind right now. You do have a conference game first.
Yeah, our guys are definitely looking forward to conference play. It's always the season within the season. It's exciting. So, again, we're looking forward to playing the next opponent. And I can't say that we're really focused on anything else right now. The guys, I'm sure, are going to enjoy today, but we have a nice work week in front of us, and then we're going to travel to Queens.
All right, sir. Well, I'll tell you what, congratulations on the victory today. The Air Force Academy winning it by the score of 11-6, as the Falcons will now get ready to go on the road. We'll take a break and be back with some final stats when we return right after this. You're watching Air Force Lacrosse. This is Falcon Vision. So the Air Force Academy Falcons go 4-2 on the year as they win 11-6. Taking a look at some of the final stats on the shots by period. Bryant 31, Air Force 27. Ground balls dead even, 29-29. Face-off violations, Bryant had 2, Air Force had 1. Face-offs by period, 13 of 21 by Bryant, 8 of 21 by Air Force. In the clears, Bryant 18 for 22, but Air Force, this was a big factor as well, 24 of 28. Extra man opportunities, Bryant was 1 for 2, and the Falcons were perfect, 2 for 2. Saves by period, 13 by Bryant, 12 by Air Force, and turnovers by period, Air Force turned it over 21 times, Bryant 20. So it's on the road next week to Queens in North Carolina and then on to Duke. Our next broadcast of Air Force Academy Lacrosse will be on March 25th against Lindenwood. Face-off time is at 12 noon. For our entire Falcon Vision crew, I'm Jeffrey Orman from the United States Air Force Academy bidding you a pleasant good afternoon.